We've had 22 new cases overnight. This is bringing the total number of cases in the ACT to 67. Fortunately, all 22 of the new cases can be linked to existing cases. And due to the excellent work of our contact tracers, 63 of the 67 cases can now be linked. Fortunately, there are no hospitalisations at this stage. In the last 24 hours, 8,417 tests were conducted in the ACT. That's nearly 25,000 tests since lockdown commenced, which is equivalent to around 6% of the ACT population. We continue to stand up additional testing sites to respond to emerging cases and demand across the city. Can I remind Canberrans, though, that travelling to Yass to get tested is not appropriate. We have been working in partnership with New South Wales Health and additional facilities have been stood up on the Queanbeyan side of the ACT border, and we have been able to direct some Canberrans to those testing facilities when demand has peaked inside the ACT. So that's a good example of cooperation between ACT and New South Wales Health to serve the Canberra region. Pleasingly, our vaccination rates continue to be well above the Australian average. 57% of Canberrans have now had a first dose of the vaccine and 1/3 now are fully vaccinated. We continue to focus our efforts on running our vaccination program full tilt. Fortunately, we are joined in that effort by the incredible work and support of Canberra's GP network and pharmacists. And more vaccines are coming into the Territory, and Minister for Health Rachel Stephen-Smith will talk about this more when she provides an update shortly. Also want to provide an update on our work with industry stakeholders in relation to COVID-safe resumption in the weeks ahead. We continue to work with industry associations, particularly in construction and retail, to look at possible COVID-safe arrangements for those areas. This includes COVID-safe home delivery for local small businesses and COVID-safe arrangements for the construction industry to recommence. However, as I said yesterday, and I repeat today, now is not the time to be easing restrictions. So whilst that work will continue with industry associations to chart a path forward, I think anyone who looks at the New South Wales numbers today and what has been occurring there would be very clear that now is not the time at this stage of our outbreak to be easing restrictions. But I do want to assure industry, business associations, small business owners and operators that each day we are working with your representatives to put in place COVID-safe mechanisms that we can deploy when it is safe to do so. But now is not that time. We have 12,500 people in quarantine. 10,500 of those are close contacts linked to the ACT clusters. The remaining 2,000 are linked to interstate outbreaks. Now, with that many people in quarantine, we know there is pressure on food delivery services. The government has been engaging with the major supermarkets to get food deliveries prioritised for those in quarantine. However, there are many options outside of the two mainstream or major supermarket chains. And so what we're seeking to do is to compile a list of what is already a wide range of alternate options to get necessary food and groceries delivered to households in quarantine. We're compiling that information and we'll make that available through various channels, social media and on our website. A shout out to small business in the grocery and food delivery area in the ACT. We know a number of you are going above and beyond to meet demand. and we thank you for that work. And there are thousands of Canberra households who will benefit from the extra effort that you are putting in to get food to those people. Of course, there are also vulnerable Canberra households who don't have the means to afford food deliveries at this time, and we have in place through a partnership with the community sector a food relief program that will assist those households who don't have the means to pay for food to be delivered to them. In relation to further economic support, we continue to engage productively with the Commonwealth Government. We're looking at a range of jointly funded additional programs. This will be targeted at supporting businesses that are impacted by the lockdown measures. That includes work on commercial tenancies relief, additional support for the tourism sector, including particularly privately operated attractions, and that includes the National Zoo. The Commonwealth have a program to support zoos, but I believe it expires at the end of September, so we are looking to see that program extended. I imagine that would be of interest to zoos right across Australia. We're also looking to partner with the Commonwealth on micro-business grants and expanding the existing ACT government-funded Small Business Hardship Scheme. That work continues, and I look forward to being able to make some further announcements in the coming days once that has been concluded in a 50-50 partnership with the Australian Government. As we come towards the end of this first week of the ACT lockdown, I want to thank Canberrans for the tremendous community spirit and effort that we are all making to keep each other safe. This community has responded amazingly to the circumstances in which we find ourselves. It's been a really tough winter across Australia, and particularly in Canberra. And I want to hold out hope for people that we will get through this, but we need to look after each other. Please stay at home, but do keep in touch with family and friends online and through the telephone. Now's not the time to be popping over to mum or dad's or to visit your cousins or brothers or sisters, but you can keep in touch with them using the internet or the telephone. That sort of support will be essential as we go through the next few weeks of our lockdown. We'll continue to keep people updated in terms of new exposure sites, updates on any other information. The single source of truth for information in the ACT is our COVID-19 website. So thank you, Canberra, for all that you are doing, and we will keep on supporting you as we go through this lockdown.